Hello again, this is Holly Weaver from Vantage Investments Portfolio. In my recent roadshow, the question I was asked most frequently, apart from which type of property I should buy, was how do I go about buying it? So I've created this little video tutorial to really walk through that particular part of the process. From beginning to end, I've split buying an offshore property into 4 parts. You've got to know the purpose of your investment. Why are you doing it? What are you trying to achieve? Then identify the right property that you're going into. Then work out how to actually buy that. What is the process of doing the purchase? And then understand the payments flow, what's going to come back to you when. But this tutorial is specifically about the process of buying the property. So let's review that part in a bit more depth. I've broken that itself down into 4 steps. There's the reserve stage, the instruct and identify, the contract, and the exchange steps. So let's look at the reserve step. This is really when you've worked with your consultant to identify a particular property in a development, and that consultant will send you a reservation form that you put your name against a specific unit, and then you need to transfer your reservation fee to the developer. That's usually about £5,000, and it is a non-refundable reservation fee. It does get taken into account when you do your next tranche, which will be the deposit. So you will be whatever your 50% or whatever percentage you are due to pay at the exchange time, minus your £5,000. So it is taken into account later on. So once you've you've completed that reservation form and transferred the funds to the developer, send a confirmation of transfer, proof of transfer to your developer. Then when the developer receives those funds, they will instruct your solicitor to start working with you. So that is the trigger for the next step. Here are examples of those forms. On the left, you have the reservation form, that's a typical one. And on the right would be the type of document you'd get to say what money needs to go where at this reservation stage. The next stage is now your instruct and identify stage. This is when your solicitor starts working with you. They will usually send you a big customer pack. It'll have lots of emails and documents inside it. Please make sure to read through each of them. What I'm explaining here is a generic step, but there could well be extra documents specific to your own solicitor. So take this as a guideline, but please make sure you read that first customer care information carefully. Typically, you will be asked to complete a client information letter. This outlines from the solicitor exactly what they're going to be doing for you, what their terms and conditions are, what their legal fees are, and what their payment terms are, as well as what type of identification they need. You will need to sign that letter yourself. You will then need to complete a client ID form and an anti-money laundering form. These are standard for everybody. And then you will need to provide proof of name and date of birth. This is usually something like your passport. It must be fully up to date. And you need to have evidence of your address, something like a bank statement or utilities bill with your current address, no older than 3 months. If you're not sending the originals, you must get them notarized by the professional bodies. Who can do the notarization is set out in your client information letter. Lastly, you'll need to have proof of the source of funds, so a bank statement proving that you have those next tranche of payments, your deposit funds, in your account. Complete those documents, scan and email a copy of them back to your solicitor, and then post the originals back to your solicitor. On receipt of those forms, that triggers your solicitor to the next step. Here's an example of those 2 types of documents. On the left is a client identification form, pretty standard. What's your name and address and how long you've been living at the address, etc. And on the right is a specific anti-money laundering form. This solicitor says it's a know your client information form. It'll be called different things by different solicitors. Okay, so the next step, the third step, is the contracts. This is when On receipt of all your ID documents, the solicitor sends you the contracts for review. Please note, very important, that you now have only 28 days to complete the purchase. If you do go over those 28 days, you're at risk of losing that non-refundable reservation fee and your unit will go back onto the market. So it's very important to keep an eye on the time. So you, at this point, read your contract, use a fine-tooth comb, do whatever you need to make sure that you get all your questions answered. But here's a tip. Put all your questions on one piece of paper. Don't drip feed them to your solicitor. Really make sure that you bundle them all together and get them answered in one go. It will be more efficient for all parties concerned. So sign the contract pack, scan and email copies of that back to your solicitor, and then post the originals. On receipt of those forms, that is when your solicitor goes to the next step, which is the exchange. When they confirm receipt of the signed contracts, they send you a request for deposit of funds. At that point, you need to transfer those funds and email a proof of transfer back to the solicitor to prove that you've done it, and then it's only a matter of a day or so for them receiving those funds. And on receipt of that, they can confirm exchange of contracts. This is usually when your lawyer will be looking for their fees at this exchange of contracts. So I hope that's okay for you. It's a very quick and fast review of that process step. If you'd like any more information on that, don't hesitate to come back to me. It's holly@vantageinvestmentsportfolio.com. And our email addresses are our email and telephone numbers are on our website. I will be contacting you as soon as I get any requests for more information. If you'd like any more information on the other steps, whether that's the identifying the right property for you or what the payments going out is, what's coming to you, I'm more than happy to send you more information on that too. Otherwise, I look forward to meeting you in another video. Thank you. Bye.